Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Brooklyn Baby Podcast with me, your host, Charlene Sabb. Hopefully, we are all doing well, and hopefully, everyone had a great week this week. I'm just feeling good right now. I'm just counting down the days and the minutes and the hours before I start another school year. Yes, another school year for me, because I actually teach at a track 4 year-round school here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And actually, this is my second year having a track 4 year-round schedule by choice. I love it because I don't know if many of you are acclimated with that kind of school schedule, but check this out. After every 45 days of school, I get 3.5 weeks off from school. And it actually coincides with the start of a new quarter. We have, of course, 4 quarters. Short summer break, only 3.5 weeks, but really summer's not my season. So with that being said, after every 45 days, which coincides with the end of every quarter, which also coincides with every season, if you will, I get 3.5 weeks off. Christmas break is the best because not only do I have the traditional 3.5 weeks off, but they tack on winter break, so I have a total of 5.5 weeks off. That schedule is thebomb.com, and it's great if you want to travel or plan doctor appointments or whatever you got to do, run errands. I love it, love it, love it. It comes with a cost now. It's not a walk in the park with these days, the type of kids that, we have in society, but I make it do what it do, and I just been teaching for 17 years. Anyway, our topic today will be on deal breakers. And I'm going to ask you the question, what are yours? I'm going to tell you some of mine. But before I get into mine, ask yourselves, what is it? Is it looks, physicality, finances, occupation, lifestyle? We can go on and on and on and on and on and on. And I'm just going to be quite candid because we want to have a candid, very open platform here at Brooklyn Baby Podcast. Now, if you would ask me this question, maybe even, I would say 2 or 3 years ago, I would say, look, he has to have height. He has to be at least 6'2" or taller. All right. Because just about every man I've dated, they were either basketball players, football players, or just tall. But most of them, with that height came athleticism. And I guess that's why I was a former basketball mom. My 32-year-old son, Michael, who you'll probably hear on this platform and see him on the platform when we do some visual episodes, videos. Beautiful, 6'5", handsome, played basketball and football, and I got him a scholarship to college as well. So his mom and daddy did not have to pay for college. What a blessing. But my point is, if you asked me that question a few years, and I listen, I'm not going to even lie to anyone. I still gravitate towards men who are 6'2" or taller. However, for me, at my ripe age of 53, if a man is not tall, and I'm not bashing men who are not tall, he better have a lot of masculine energy, because I'm just used to alpha males. Like my dad, my son, and all the men surrounding me in my life, my godfather and his father, and just alpha, because I have a strong personality. I'm graceful, I'm very feminine, but I have a lot of what people say masculine energy, meaning I don't take no shit, if you want to call it that. But yeah, so, but I still have that height thing, just something about height. But on a deeper level, I know that for me, aside from that, I definitely need someone who's not negative. I just can't take a negative man, someone who is abusive. And you could be abusive without being physically abusive. There are people who are mentally, emotionally abusive. So I just need someone who has positive. I like positive energy. If someone's not positive, that's a deal breaker. Spirituality. If someone says, "Oh, I don't pray. I don't try to acknowledge a higher being," that's a turn off for me too, because I come from a household of a praying mother, praying grandmothers, church going on. But I'm not saying I'm churchy. I'm not saying I'm overly religious. I'm just spiritual. And someone's going to pray and say grace before you eat. Someone who acknowledges a higher power. That's what I'm talking about. Someone who's spiritual. But if someone has like a demonic spirit and just evil, and that's not going to fly for me. It's just not. In addition to that, I know you have to have like I mentioned, optimism, and optimism to me also ties into a person's vibe, their energy. I'm a high energy person. I like to smile. I like to laugh, kiki, haha, be happy. Even when things are going awry, the world's not going to know it. If I share it with someone that something's upsetting me, that's the way most people realize something's going on with me. And it's not being secretive or hiding, but I just choose to try to be happy no matter what is going on. Yeah, just want to be happy. I mentioned to you all in an earlier podcast, unfortunately, my mother passed away earlier this year. And when I got back to work, when people saw me, they looked at me like I had 5 heads, because I guess they thought I was going to have my head down, red-eyed, teary. And not saying I don't miss my mother. She was my rock along with my dad. Luckily, he's still around. But, if she was alive, she would tell me, get off your ass and make something happen. Let's not be negative. Turn it over to the Lord. Be happy. Be positive. That's what she would want me to do, So yes, I need someone with a great vibe, great energy, optimism, someone who's going to fit into the scheme of things. Because if you are someone who's going to be down with me and I'm going to be down with you, I should be able to bring you around my family, my circle of friends, because we have family reunions, or at least we used to. Hopefully we're going to get those back up and going. But you should be able to flow into my scheme of things. I should be able to flow into your scheme of things. And just overall kindness. I mean, it takes nothing to be kind. But if someone acts like a jerk, they're ordering from the waiter or waitress with an attitude and not pleasant, that's a turnoff. That's an instant deal breaker. Someone who's family oriented, like I am. Because like I said, I want someone to bring to the cookout. I want someone to take me to the cookout. I want to, know who your inner circle. I want you to get along with my inner circle. We may have events in which we have someone bring their significant other. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we want someone who's going to go with the flow. Take trips. As I know, my girl crew and I, we have taken trips together with or without significant others. So that's very important to have as far as I'm concerned. In addition to that, for me, and I know it might matter to a lot of people, a number of kids a person has. I only have one. And I know for some people that's a deal breaker. And I know for me, not to bash anyone or put anyone down, but 3 is my maximum. 3 is my maximum. Another deal breaker, I would say, would be the number of times a person has been married. I know I have dated someone and he hid from me the fact that he had 4 marriages. No, I'm sorry, I misspoke. At the time, he had 3 marriages. He only told about 2. So I'm just like, that's not going to work. I find that very dishonest. And you got to watch out for people who are not being honest with their truth. But aside from that, it's just been my observation that not many people, not all, who have been married X amount of times, I don't know if they're in love with the idea of being in love or they don't pick wisely, but I always found in my opinion, in my observation with the people I've encountered, there's usually something inner that's problematic going on with them that I don't want to be a part of, personally, But remember, with everything that I'm saying and everything in life, there are always exceptions to the rule. There are always exceptions, because sometimes people have mitigating circumstances for why they may have X amount of kids or had X amount of marriages. But that's just my general rule of thumb. It's a no bueno, a no for me. And I would also say this, finances and credit. Finances and credit. Like, what's that Gwen Guthrie song, romance without finance? You got to have a job if you want to be with me. That is so true. Like, no one wants a broke man or a broke woman. I'm not saying they got to roll in dough. And I think I shared with you an earlier episode in this podcast in which I dealt with men who money wasn't an object, but they were lacking a lot of character. And I think of actually two men specifically I dated. One was introduced to me by a family friend, had a house here, had a house there. He was divorced, father of two. But when you scratch below the surface, yeah, he had all this money and houses and had disposable income, but he was into things that I just couldn't get down with that program. And there was another instance about the person I shared in an earlier episode who I met through a cousin, because my cousin owned an establishment, and this person actually was the patron of the establishment. And this person, nice, beautiful home, divorced, father of two, money wasn't an object, great job, finance manager, but he had a very awful way of dealing with people, and I feel like narcissistic tendencies, the type of person that would try triangulation, try to make someone upset or jealous, or it was just toxic. But both those situations were nipped in the bud very early after, a few dates and time together. That was a no bueno on both of them. So money is not everything, but at the same time, you don't want someone to not be able to pay their bills, someone with horrible credit, because what if you want to build, as you should want to? You should want to build together. I know I like to travel. You should want someone who, if you say, hey, let's go to Jamaica, let's go to Mexico, hey, let's go to Paris. They should be able to pick up and go and jet set, not say, oh, I don't know, I'm going to be, especially at my age, that's a hell no. No, sir, no, ma'am. I didn't come this far just to come this far to deal with some broke person. And conversely, if I didn't have my stuff in order either, I wouldn't expect anyone to say, hey, you know what? You have bad finances, you're broke, your credit's messed up, but no. So I hold myself to the same standard as I hold a man that I would pursue. So I feel like discussions need to be had. How are your finances? What's your credit score? And I should be able to answer the same question. And if there's an issue with anyone's credit, okay, and if you care enough about that person and you want to pursue them further, they have to come up with a plan to fix that financial situation. But I'm going to be honest, at 53 years old, I'm not trying to hear that. And no one that I should date, because I like to date people my age and preferably older, because there was a time in my life I liked to date men at least 15, 20 years older than me. But now as I gotten older, I think I need to stay more in my age bracket, because now when you date 15, 20 years old at 53 years old, you do the math. The math is not always math, and people are not taking care of themselves the way you would want to, and you become like a person who may need to be a healthcare provider, a health giver. So I'm now wanting more my own age, because I'm seeing a lot more vitality if they took care of themselves. There's some broke down, not taking care of themselves, unhealthy people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Shoot, even in their 20s. Okay, but back to the topic. I advise people please have those discussions, because if you get to a situation where someone has lingering bills and issues with their finances, it's going to get in the way of you being able to build, literally and figuratively. Let's say you want to buy or build a home, build a future, make certain acquisitions and purchases. You're stifled. And that's not going to work. So just choose wisely and just be honest with yourselves. And basically, no one should have to settle. No one should have to settle. My motto is life is too short to settle. And as I told you before, I think I did, and if I didn't, I'm going to say it now, you got to remember that you are the president of your own life. Say to yourselves, I am the president and the CEO of my own life. All right? I can decide who's going to be in it, what role they're going to have in it, and how long they're going to be in it. And when you look at life like that, I just feel it's emboldening. I feel emboldened, I feel powerful. We just got to take charge of our lives and not settle. Don't settle. If someone has something that you know to be a deal breaker, as my mother would say, some people are just breath and britches. I don't want a man just to have a man just because he's wearing pants and breathing. I want someone who's going to really be a person that's going to compliment me, someone we're going to uplift each other, not just me uplifting him or him uplifting me. We uplift each other. So that's the goal. That's the goal. So just, again, people, don't settle. Be honest with yourselves and with others. And if you feel that someone's falling short of your expectations and you come to scratch below the surface and see that you feel like you're settling and they are not checking checking a lot of your boxes, and they are coming to you and they have a lot of your non-negotiables, end it. Move on. Be by yourself. It's okay to be with yourself. It's okay. Because remember, we are the president and CEOs of our lives. So I'm going to leave you with that. So anyway, people, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, because I know this is posting Saturday at 1 p.m. So if you're listening to this right when it posts, you should be enjoying your Saturday, listening to me, and enjoying your weekend. And look forward to our next episode. It's going to post next week, Saturday at 1 p.m. Until then, stay safe and be blessed. Bye.